Hello. So I got cut off in the last message. We were talking about culture and some of the differences between culture and demographics. Now, these two topics overlap, but I wanted to make a distinction. And then when I watched the first video, I wasn't quite happy with some of my representations. So let me go back to my TCC hallway example. Uh, for about 15 years, I taught at TCC Southeast. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Arlington, Arlington is one of those cities. They say the United States will look like Arlington in 25 years. Arlington is very diverse with lots of different races and lots of different cultures. So if you go to the TCC Southeast campus, which I taught there for 15 years or actually longer, but that's neither here nor there. It's a wonderful experience. And I wanted to bring up a very specific example instead of generalizing. So, 15 years ago, and some of my best memories at TCC were with my Muslim students. I love teaching Muslim students, and there's a large percentage of Muslim students, not to be confused with Arabs, which is a race, but Muslim is more of a religion and a cultural uh, idea. Um, so when I would be walking in down the hallway and I would see various groups that would be segmented off within the hallways as we were walking to class, uh, there were always groups of Muslim women that were kind of grouped together. They all wore hijabs, but not all of them wore burqas. In fact, the majority of them wore jeans. And so they were adopting the culture of their parents and the culture of their religion, but they were also participating in pop culture, which is more to do with demographics because it has to do with, how we sell things and how we express ourselves. So that's a little bit more specific of an example. I don't want anybody to Joe Rogan me these days. Uh, next, there's also what we call corporate culture. And corporate culture is I'm going to move this for just a second. Corporate culture has to do with the organization where you work at. Um, and it has to do with their beliefs and values. And these are changing as well. One of my laments about corporations is electronic service. So you got to punch different buttons before you can get to a person. Now, I grew up in the days where that wasn't happening, where you actually got a customer service person on the other end. So, all corporate cultures today generally are harder to get through to than than cultures from the past. Now, if you think about some of the major companies today, like Facebook and Google, they call where they work a campus. And there's workout facilities, there's coffee shops, there might be even be daycare on premise, which is a good thing, good for the employees. But they seem to have obsessed with algorithm, algorithm fact checking, algorithmic fact checking. Sorry about that. My denture is giving me trouble. And I'm not a real big fan of the fact checking that's going on in these days. Another one was, like 20 years ago, Southwest Airlines changed the landscape of airlines where they wore polos and khakis. And the stewardesses told jokes. Oops, flight attendants told jokes. And one I've noticed today is Buc-ee's. I don't know if any of you work for Buc-ee's, but Buc-ee's was on this $15 an hour minimum wage long before the government was. And I'm thinking that is a good corporate culture. Oops. So moving